Welcome in the Geopolitical Situation Room. My name is David Criekemans. Today we're going to talk about the Crimea, and more in particular we're going to talk over here about the Kerch Strait incident. As you might know, a while ago there was an incident like you see over here, the footage where some Ukrainian ships tried to enter the Sea of Asov, and they were actually rammed. This is a Russian ship. They were rammed by a Russian ship. Now, what is going on? What is happening over here? Well, the map will show us. If you see over here is the Sea of Asov. So this is a bridge that has been built by the Russian Federation. The Crimea seceded in 2014 as a result of the Ukraine crisis. And now the bridge is so low that only small ships can enter. Of course, if you then look to the north, we might have to talk about Mariupol, the harbor city, quite important for the Ukrainian economy in the east. But of course, this is impoverishing. If they cannot fully use their harbor like they could do in the past, then the eastern part of the Ukraine is going to impoverish. As you know, a bit to the north, you have the oblasts of Donetsk and Lugansk. Over there, they are fighting a war of independence. Well, actually, it's the Russian Federation trying to weaken the Ukraine over there as well. Now, what's also important to mention is Mr. Poroshenko. He is the Ukrainian president, as you very well know. He's very pro-Western. He's an oligarch. He's also a bit corrupt, some have said in the past. His approval rating before this crisis was only 9%. And now he's used the crisis more or less to improve his own popularity. Don't think it's really working, by the way. Mr. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, wants Poroshenko out because, of course, Poroshenko, if you look at the broader strategic situation, what Poroshenko actually wants to do is to align the Ukraine with Europe and with NATO. He wants the Ukraine to become an EU member, or more in particular, he wants the Ukraine to become a NATO member. And of course, if this would become NATO, then of course Moscow is quite close by. This could be a security threat for the Russian Federation. Imagine, by the way, think about all the Russian invasions, Wilhelm II, Napoleon, Hitler. Always the threat comes from the West, if you think about that from a Russian, with Russian eyes. Now, of course, Mr. Putin, he wants Mr. Poroshenko out. Poroshenko has to be re-elected in March, and I was recently in Moscow, and some high-placed people said to our delegation that Vladimir Putin is not going to give any gifts to Poroshenko. Actually, the Russians want Poroshenko out, and they hope that then later they can, well, more or less re-establish their influence in the Ukraine. That's a short analysis. We're going to follow this further, certainly with the upcoming elections in March 2019. Thank you for your attention, and see you next time. Bye.